What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the data points, break it down, what's moving it, and go over the latest in rumors. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is pretty much flat right now, 1014 the high, 979 the low. So the market's starting to kind of recover from the intraday lows. In Lucid's case, as well as most of the market, we're seeing fairly low volume, so 2.6 million shares being traded, and based on the flow, a lot of the volume is coming from algorithmic trading. Today was supposed to be more of a quiet day, so we don't really have that much in data points today. So we were supposed to have a lot of the positive momentum from yesterday linked to the manufacturing data roll over into today, but market did have other plans, and a lot of that is because of this. So the South Korean market getting hit very, very hard, the most in roughly around 19 months, give or take. A lot of the main headlines are kind of portraying, saying that it's because of the Iran war and oil surging, but we've been at higher prices for oil and it has not slowed the progress down at all in the South Korean market. So I think that this is complete BS. Rather, a lot of kind of foreign investors are rotating out of the South Korean market. And for those of you that pay attention, that market has just gone up and up like crazy. So in reality, foreign investors pulling their cash, a little bit more of a fear, red flag. I definitely do not feel that it's correlated with the Iran war or oil surging, just simply profit taking at the same time. There's better opportunities elsewhere. And I think in reality, a lot of the foreign investors are American companies. So they're probably just rotating out to invest it back in America. So I think today's sell-off was extremely unjustified, and I think the market's tending to agree because it is starting to recover, but it's just that unknown. That's one thing that's been really hurting the market the last several months, is the unknown factor, and plus the same time, the lack of catalysts. So us potentially getting a future rate cut, or at least optimism for that is going to be a good catalyst, but right now we're kind of just stuck in limbo. So this is why a lot of this is rolling over into the American side. As far as Lucid goes, there hasn't been any news, no SEC filings or anything along those lines, but you are starting to see a lot of rumors about bankruptcy. So a lot of people have seen Fisker, many other EVs go belly up, right? And so initially they go through the creditor kind of protection, where they kind of start negotiating with creditors. And I think just a lot of people don't know bankruptcy proceedings. So there's a couple of different ways a company can go BK, and a lot of it is linked to debt. So there's different ways, even within the market, companies can get money. They can do dilution. A lot of people always correlate that with just debt. That isn't actually debt. If a company is diluting, giving its shares out to investors, to retail institutions, blah, 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 that isn't debt. And right now, Lucid did have at least, I think it was about 15 billion in a authorized cap. Because of the whole reverse stock split, now it is 1.5. But right now, for the outstanding share count, we're sitting at 327 million. So they can dilute quite a lot. So bankruptcy definitely isn't a option, at least I would assume worst case scenario up until like maybe 2031, 2032, because they can dilute a lot. And the alternate option is kind of negotiating with creditors, and interestingly enough, their main creditor is the PIF, and I believe actually they're the only creditor. So if the PIF wants to bring Lucid to bankruptcy, they can definitely do that. Are they going to do that? Most likely not. So as far as bankruptcy, definitely I don't see Lucid being on there. Has their stock performance been amazing? Definitely not. Does that mean bankruptcy? Definitely not. So that's my field of expertise on a side note, is bankruptcy. So again, just to kind of keep that in mind. Obviously you guys do your own due diligence. If you want to believe in bankruptcy, have at it. I'm not going to change that whatsoever. But aside from all of that, looking at shorts, So shorts are returning about 68,000 shares. 33.27% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 44.5 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is dropping a little bit, 69.9. Still nothing too crazy because that's an annual rate, not a daily rate. But DTC being at 6.19 days does still signal that shorts are relatively overextended. Looking at options, we're seeing a lot of crazy moves right here, but 209,000 in calls, 340,000 in puts. So matching with the overall common stock just being fairly low volume, but 72% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. And that's, again, something that I've started to see more and more across a lot of the stocks I'm looking at, is just a lot of optimism through options. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 11, and the week ending March the 20th for it to be kind of around that $10 range, a little bit higher than that. Bears are anticipating for it to be between 9.50 and 10. So even they are kind of anticipating for it to be either stagnant, if not a little bit higher. So that's always a good thing. Right now, 3 transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. All pretty much happening in the first little bit of the morning. So 2.2 million, 1.8, and 173,000, all buys. So big money definitely is buying, even though we're seeing kind of lower volume. Still good to see. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So it does match with the fact that shorts aren't really doing that much. So they're returning. And the fact that they are returning when Lucid's been mostly in the red today definitely is a positive thing. Aside from that though, with it at 10.02, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 9.95 was going to be that key level that Lucid really needed to get over, and it did. So as long as it can hold that, then in theory we could see a nice continued push higher. 10.55 though, that's going to be the next round target. Most likely won't be tested today, but over the next couple of trading days, definitely could. Aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart itself, this is where it's still holding above that 10-day moving average. Yesterday was kind of a very interesting day. Luckily enough, Lucid did have a nice push higher above that 10-day moving average. So right now we're seeing still a good amount of momentum, but it really does need to kind of bounce off of that and really push higher. If not, then unfortunately we could be seeing it really start to consolidate. So personally, I do feel, just given everything that's happening in the broader market, like the market does want to move higher. Again, it just needs that catalyst. Looking at the market position, you see a little bit more willing buyers, so that's always a good thing. Stochastic RSI is at 64, so a little bit more on the neutral side. Nothing for any articles or any new analyst ratings, so it is just at the mercy of the broader market. So if you're into dollar cost averaging, I'm sure you've loved the last couple of trading days because it has been very volatile and most likely will continue to be very volatile until we do get that future catalyst. But with Lucid's roadmap coming up in their investor day, that is going to be a massive, massive deal. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.